All right, folks, we are back, and we're in the lobby for HellraiseR versus KeeN. It's going to be the first semifinals of two. For those who don't know the schedule at this point, or are unfamiliar with the Corsair Cup, we're going to be doing this semifinals, the other semifinals, and the grand finals. So 2 best of 3s, 1 best of 5, and we'll get into it as soon as the players are ready. But pretty excited. Sorry, guys, I've been maybe noticeably, hopefully not so noticeably, distracted this stream because I've been trying to do several very, very important emails while this tournament's going on, and I'm really hoping to report some very good news at the end of stream today, or at the very least later on Twitter.
Yeah. I'll KeeN had to stop being AFK, and HellraiseR needs a second now. As far as we know, Alive and Geralt are playing. As far as we know.
Yeah, that was such a weird situation. I still want to know what happened with that.
Possibly just laddered and then didn't realize the bracket's been updated, but
yeah.
I mean, that bracket had been set up for a long time, whereas Blind vs. HellraiseR was heavily delayed because Hino Casbah took forever to be reported.
I will say, though, I'm still very just... If you guys haven't seen the brackets, I just want to call back to them. I'm really, really impressed with the signups for today. We had moved off of Mondays because the signups were so bad, but maybe we should make our Mondays our jam again. Like, the concern was for the longest time we had barely a round of 8, less and less people were signing up every month. But we actually had a couple of pros, I'll say 2 to be specific, reach out to us saying like, hey, you know, you guys are putting a lot of weight on the Corsair Cup this month, but, you know, a lot of people are preparing for Valencia or not being able to play, like this might not be a good month to judge it. I'm like, well then all the more reason like hopefully the amateurs would sign up, right? Like the pros aren't. Because to be clear, like I don't think us or the fans particularly are here for the big name Europeans, right? Like obviously it's awesome if you have like Nurchio versus Euthermal in the finals or something like that, but I go back to that first game we cast today and it was 2 players a lot of people probably didn't know, Nerzium and Emperor M, and they were really well matched for each other and it made for a fun game. And like that is the basic premise for me of an open cup. Have fun games. Obviously, it's cooler as you get bigger names go through, but yeah. Today's been great. Today's been a really good win for the Corsair Cup is what it comes down to. But all right, folks, we're getting into game number 1. It's a brand new best of 3. We're in the semifinals. Once again, big thank you to the folks over on Twitch and Corsair for making this happen. It is the Corsair Cup powered by Twitch, to be clear. And you should check out all the affiliate links down below. Do us a huge favor. Even if you guys don't plan to buy anything, just go click them. Let them know that you're seeing it, you're appreciating it, and go into their website once in a while to check out their stuff. Even if you have no intention to buy anything. Click those links down below. But getting into game 1 in the semifinals, we've got in the lower right the evidently Ukrainian Red Protoss HellraiseR.
In the top left, as the yellow Terran, he is KeeN.
Yo, so KeeN's been looking pretty good lately. And I don't want to say that, like, I actually really like his TvP especially. So HellraiseR, I think, has some work ahead of him. But if he's good enough to take out Bly, especially like 2-1 and not 2-0 through like weird random cheese, I think he's got a decent shot to take on somebody like KeeN.
Yeah. I think he does. KeeN can sometimes play a little too defensive, be overwhelmed. Although, last time I saw him on TvP, he was actually playing a perfectly well-paced game. You get a Farvik Nugan. Sends him on 3-7. Partooth coins. So, your name was really familiar, didn't I feel like I sent you one. But if you haven't contacted BaseTradeTV, then you message BaseTradeTV on Twitch for the sign-up link. But I think if you like, cause I'm a little bit confused just because I think Skype isn't working for me, probably because of the same like reason that it crashed for you. I feel like it's gonna crash on me soon. And, like I'm gonna be gone.
Well, for those who don't know what happened, I don't think this this is obviously a coincidence, but my Skype crashed and then like forcefully updated. I'm like, you son of a...
Yeah.
I've been holding off on updating you for a good while now, on purpose no less.
For a reason. They get a braggy Coops for the Twitch Prime sub. Sub.
I'm sorry, what was his name? Oh, Coops. I heard poops. I'm just so... My poops are so good, I brag about them. You know, that's...
I'm a bit braggy about my poops.
You know, they don't smell very bad. They come out in one small chunk. Like, it's easy breezy.
God. Alright, well, I do not want to type in all chat.
Zombie
Alright,
girl.
Robo coming out here for HellraiseR. What's up?
I'm going to ask you a horrible question. You have to answer.
No, I don't.
Yes.
No,
Would you rather poops that smelled amazing, like whatever good smell you're thinking of, that's what they smell like, but they were always super duper messy, or gross ass disgusting smelling ones, but it's like the cleanest ghost poops, you never need toilet paper again for the rest of your life?
It's a little weird not to use toilet paper, but I would go with the latter for sure.
Okay.
Why?
I think I'd go for the first one, to be honest.
Really?
Well, you think about it, it's disgusting mostly because of the way it smells. But it smelled really, really lovely. I don't know that it would be such a gross thing anymore. I mean, it's so gross, don't get me wrong, but not as gross,
I just feel like, you know, like taking like so much time to clean up and then like never being truly clean down there, like, nah, that'd be too much. And it only lasts for so long. Like,
oh, this is so good. That whole position on that probe is going to save the lives of many more, even though it cost him his. So, one moment in chat, guys. Can we get some Fs to pay respect to that hero probe out of HellraiseR?
That was a pretty cool probe, but it disrupted a very, very important conversation.
I'm sorry.
Nah.
No, but that actually, for me, that was a really calm and collected move, and I feel like, even though it was one Hellion, even if it was three Hellions, like, the point is, like, HellraiseR responded to that without freaking out, and I feel most of the time we just see all Protoss players be like, oh, Hellion, I'll pull all my probes in the same direction. Oh, wait, we stacked up and now we're all dead.
Well, I saw that similar palm positioning from, and I was just like, oh my god, this is why, like, pro Protoss players are so good. I think their SimCity actually still matters a little bit more. I'm talking about, like, Brood War. SimCity was like the most important thing in the world, but StarCraft 2, it's like, it's kind of questionable for every race. Protoss, their pylon position's got to be really important. It's got to be perfect.
Game paused.
And in that case, it helps so much against Hellion pulls.
He needs
to pee-pee.
He needs to go poop, please. He needs chocolate soft serve ice cream emoji with eyeballs, please.
Let's see if the chat's cut up their conversation.
We're gonna stop talking about poots. No, poot is like when you fart and it's like a cute little sound.
Yeah.
Widow Mines are gonna get to burrow, but there's an observer here, so even the best hit is still gonna be limited. It takes out the observer though, funny enough. 3 probes, not that impressive. Stalker, whatever. But the observer going down I think was really awesome.
Yeah, a little something.
Oh, actually I didn't get the stalker,
Otherwise,
excuse me. I thought it did.
HellraiseR is going for double upgrade Blink Colossus. Sticking on 2 base for a while longer. Alright.
I don't know. I'm so jaded about Colossus choices right now. And they're coming back into flavor. Like I feel like a lot of Protoss players are trying to make them happen again. I just don't think a player like KeeN messes up to Colossus.
Yeah. Well, I just think that this is it's almost looking like a 2-base all-in, honestly, because there's so many gateways coming down here, but no one does 2-base Colossus all-ins anymore. But, like, the 2-base Colossus macro game was the thing to do for, I want to say, like, a month. And then people were doing, like, Resident Enclave Phoenix, and then when that stopped kind of doing, the best it could, they went into Blink, then Resident Enclaves, and then Charge. Like, there's so many other things that have happened since Double Forge Colossus. Because that was more like a Heart of the Swarm build.
It's really funny, too, by the way. I know some known Terran sympathizers in chat putting those Fs in. I love that when something cool happens in StarCraft, we can all put our petty biases aside and pay some respect to the cool plays, like that single probe pull.
I'm disappointed in some of the responses, actually, about the serious question earlier.
Or our conversation before they got stalled out, stooled out.
Ooh, I won the base, the bank dice. Nice.
Congrats.
yeah, so I have all my part 2s.
Yogear says, does BaseTradeTV still play co-op and put videos on YouTube? We honestly haven't done much co-op. The views went down. It just didn't feel like it was worth, to be honest. But I still love playing co-op. I play co-op every single week. If you guys want video... But here's the thing. If you ever want video content from us, just ask for it. Like, that's the thing. We don't really know what people want. So we just do our best. And if people like it, great. We respond well. So if you guys do want to see things like more co-op videos, or maybe you want point of view videos, or maybe you want us to play 2v2s, like, we need our audience to be vocal about it, because so often we've got a really great community, but it's also kind of quiet one a lot of the time.
I do them every week. They might be not on Monday or Tuesday, but I do the co-op mutation every week.
No one comes out today. It came out today, I think, right?
Yes, it did. This drop in the main is a bit of a surprise. HellraiseR, though, initially pulled way too much of his army away, realized his mistake, went back to the 3rd.
KeeN's actually doing something already, though. Like, he wasn't really sure what this was going to be. Scouting and confirming this now, of course, but he's already got the fusion core down. He's already getting ready to start getting Liberator range. As much as I want to get hyped about battle cruisers, we all know it's Liberator range. So, yeah, there's the tech lab on the starport. This is going to be huge. Colossus and Liberators have a really weird dynamic where they both, with their long range, kind of zone out their opponent's little units. But I think Liberators are a lot better at forcing an engagement than Colossus are. That's what they are, right?
Interesting. He scans, picks up, and then decides not to, despite scanning no observer.
Super mind games.
Well, it's a good thing that he didn't go for it, because there was army in the saying it anyways, because he saw with another observer that he moved forward.
I want to restart this. Yesterday this was doing this too. You're starting to just cut out randomly. So I'm just going to restart this. Or you call me back on Discord. Hey. Yeah, it's weird because it's only for like one word out of a sentence, and it's so not consistent. Yeah, well, I think this actually sounds kind of familiar for like after a certain period of time it starts doing it. Because I remember you thought it was that I was moving away from the mic, which this time it definitely wasn't. But then you sort of you did that to me towards the end of last night's cast too. You just cut off a couple words. Well, hopefully it's fixed now. The engagement does come down. A lot of these zealots charging forward are so good against the marauders. These stalkers would get melted otherwise, but with that zealot wall in front of them, the marauders can't afford to shoot over them. But this now is where that Liberator range is going to get really nice. He's got a lot of Liberators. He's up on 7. And range, good luck blinking underneath these guys.
HellraiseR could probably force the issue here, especially if he knew that there are so many units in the medevacs. Well, I don't know if he knows that, but he's going to go for it, realizing that they are awfully small despite so many Liberators. KeeN was really hoping they just simply wouldn't want to go into the Liberators. Maybe a fatal mistake to this game.
Jeez. 25 SCVs. The command center might actually go down. The Stalkers could get greedy with this, but they go for the depots instead. KeeN's got to get damage done with this, but this is such a small amount of units. I just can't see him. What? These guys were left up here too? Hello, guys?
This isn't looking too hot for KeeN. He does have a 4th base building, but his production is very closely getting camped here on this ramp. Bio's pretty... It's actually a nice concave, actually, up to the left side once the command center lifted, but...
Yeah, he takes out the Zealots. Dealt with. As soon as the Zealots go down, everything else here starts getting focused, but still, it might be a bit much. It took a long time to chew through that last Zealot. Yeah, the Stalker wall isn't ideal against Marauders, but it's just barely enough to let the Colossus live. If there is an Immortal in here, these Marauders have already died, but even so, the 2 Colossus end up being just enough. Wow, HellraiseR takes the first game. Very nice. Yeah, against KeeN, that's impressive. KeeN's one of our like regular top 4, top 2 guys, so I think first time we're seeing HellraiseR get this far, that's for sure, because I don't think I have his PayPal stuff, otherwise we would have paid him in the past. So he's in the money too. It's worth noting, top 4 places, each of the weeklies get paid. Top 4 in the monthly finals, season finals as well. Right. Next map is going to be Sequencer. Actually, it reminds me I have to get HellraiseR's payment form real quick too. Looks like Alive beat Geralt, by the way, 2-0. Yeah. Yeah. What should I have for breakfast? I had grilled cheese sandwiches.
Sounds like a good idea. I could buy one. Of course, my breakfast is really dinner, but it's just at a breakfast time.
Alright, your nephew. Sorry, I was just getting HellraiseR the payment form before I forgot, guys, because so many times, like, they'll win, they'll lose, they just take off, and I just want to make sure we got this before he disappeared today one way or the other. But yo, you...
What?
Do you like pickles on your grilled cheese? I don't remember. I think you do, right?
I've never tried it. I haven't had grilled cheese in a very long time, but I've grown to like pickles a lot, so probably.
I still can't get over deep fried pickles. Like that's a thing, and I recognize that it's a thing. I'm just not on board with that thing.
That's the least thing of a thing. The most thing of a thing is like deep fried Oreos.
I don't know, dude. So like when I went to the Corsair headquarters for the very first time, they took me out to lunch, and like everybody got these like deep fried pickles. Like, oh, it's like God's candy, and I'm like, oh, I don't really like this.
They bought it for when I even went down there. I think that's when I tried it too. Because I remember trying this with someone who was like, "No, it's really good." And I was like, "It just kind of tastes like pickles that are deep fried." I don't know.
I was stoked to finally get In-N-Out, although the burgers were okay. The fries I didn't like that much.
There's a knockoff In-N-Out that's near the GSL studio in Korea.
Knockoff?
They literally like it's not called In-N-Out, right? It's actually a different color scheme. It's all yellow, but you can get like animal style, and it's obviously an American style restaurant. So you just bring that. Yeah.
I like that. Sounds so dirty. Hey, I don't know if he's tuning in. I just saw Lycan. If you're looking about, dude, I'm gonna go ahead and assume. Pardon me for assuming, because it makes an announcement out of you and me. That's a birthday gift. If not, either way, thank you for that donation, dude. I really appreciate that. If he's not here, I'll go reach out to him after the stream's done. Been a while since we've seen Lycan around, but glad for that, dude. Thank you so much. Game number 2 kicks off, though, and in the upper right, we've got the Yellow Terran player, KeeN.
In the bottom left, as the Red Protoss, he is HellraiseR, raising hell by upsetting. Yeah.
I think that it's really impressive. HellraiseR is somebody who has been playing Go for StarCrafts and everything for a while. Like, we have an open cup, but you're not gonna find new talent like fresh into like playing their first game. Now he's a stone cold badass Korean killer. But HellraiseR's been around for long enough. It's nice to see him finally get further, I guess. Not farther, further. Whatever. Point is, he's making it here in the Corsair Cup today. I would hope to see more games out of him in future ones too, if he can keep this up.
Yeah. I'm actually quite... Even though we have 2 Koreans and 2 of the more consistent Koreans in the bracket, and usually it's like, oh, it's a live versus KeeN, what else is new? HellraiseR being up 1, Mana looking pretty strong against the Zerg earlier, going up against a live. Up next, another semifinal. I'm pretty pleased with how the top 4 has come to be.
Yeah, I'm really glad that's not just all ZVZ. That's perhaps the most important factor for me.
That's a good point. No more Zerg.
Oh, well, I'm actually sad about that, but...
Yeah. And olives can be really good. People hating on the... What would you call...
I'm not an olives guy. Definitely not an olives guy.
Okay, well, there's like... I feel like there is going to be a word that I just don't know what it is, because I feel like the French fancy cheese platter, right? Cheese, sausage, and they always have like olives and pickles, but like the little fancy pickles, right? There's got to be like a word for that type of food. It's not appetizers, before anyone says that.
Disgusting. Portion size.
There's actually like they're called like, they start with like a C, and it's like a super long French word that I can never pronounce. I know that entire platter is called that.
Caviar?
I feel like, no, it's like charcuterie. I don't remember. But anyways, pickles and olives. I like them both. This is scouted, which is important, but it is not going to be denied necessarily. I mean, I think a missile turret and a cyclone is enough, but it's building. It's gonna get built.
Yeah, I do like that he canceled the pylon too. There was unnecessary if the Reaper's running away from it, but Well, he might be feeling safe, thinking like, oh, you know what, I'm good. I got that missile turret. Like, no, the Oracle can still skirt around that pretty well, so gotta play it safe. The Oracle does see that it's a Cyclone, so he's got to know there's no Widow Mine.
Yeah, that's a good point. You only build so much out of that factory, but it is still difficult to go in there, as you know, they've already prepared, and there's no SCPs in the natural anyways, but KeeN not staying at home, purely defending, figures that missile turret will be enough. Sends his units out to halt the production of the Stargate.
Oh, Cyclones, you look so silly. They almost killed something.
Wow. I was surprised that Oracle lived. I thought HellraiseR was going way too deep, but saves 2 Oracles. Unfortunately, can't save the Pylon, but I think 2 Oracles is still pretty okay. He just killed a large part of their army of what they produced in the early game.
Yeah, but at the same time, you go for this proxy because it's really meant to do a lot of mineral damage. It's really meant to get into the economy and screw things up. The trade out here, like 4 Marines, 1 SCV, a Cyclone. I don't know, man. I don't like this for the proxy, but if this was like a build he had done at home, this would have been more than fine.
We'll see how the game progresses. HellraiseR is adding on a Twilight Council, probably going quickly into a 3rd base, so it would be unfortunate if he was planning on going Resonant Glaive Adepts Phoenix, because of course the Phoenixes would come a little bit later. But it's not that. He has made Stalkers, he is getting Blink, it is a Blink pressure build following this up. Probably the exact opposite thing that KeeN is expecting.
Yeah, I mean, the tank's coming out now, and I think the timing for it will still be fine, that he should be able to defend against this. He's going to realize now that it's Stalkers, though, and be a little bit sad that these are so far forward. Blink's not done, though, so he's going to lose one of the Cyclones. But a tank up on the high ground here, a Cyclone and a couple of Marines in front of it, I think he should be able to hold this off. But those Oracles could really change things up.
By the way, that Pylon didn't power the Stargate. Oh, he's gonna go for the tank. I don't know if that's good. That's not a good move. No. Oh, it looks so tempting. But they're just so
you know what? You say shocking, but I'm gonna say devastating. There's a Banshee coming out behind this. A Banshee with Cloak. And with the Oracles going down and no Phoenix out, dealing with that Banshee is gonna be a big pain in HellraiseR's ass.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate that KeeN already had a good defense by even getting a tank in the first place, so I can kind of see HellraiseR's need to get rid of that, try to start the snowball a little bit earlier, but I think it just ultimately failed.
There's no Robo. There's nothing. He's going for a 3rd.
He's pretty dead.
This Banshee is going to secure that, yeah.
I mean, I think he's pretty dead even without, because this pressure, the Blink Stalker doesn't lead to very much, and you need to put a lot of investment into the Blink Stalker attack. That still isn't even ready, by the way. Blink's still not done. But the Banshee's going to really just cement the victory here for KeeN. Well, the Robo is on the way now, and I don't know, maybe he'll survive long enough, but it's not looking great.
No, because I feel like even if he survives, like, hypothetical, right? The problem still then becomes, oh, you got to run all those Stalkers back home before the Banshee kills everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's so devastating that, the Banshee comes in, maybe you don't tap out, but once it cloaks, you're like, well, okay, whatever. You just tap out then. This is pretty bad.
I just got wrecked in poker. Shit.
You never win in poker. That much I know.
School teachers never played before. I mean, come on, how much could they really know?
You always lose to that school teacher.
It's the same guy. Well, if he's never played before, how do I keep losing to him?
Oh my god, it's like in Future Diary where she was like, be gentle, it's my first time. And I'm like, no, it's not! You liar!
Do you guys ever want to... You sat there, you're a fan of BaseTradeTV, and you're like, how can I connect with Zombie Grub? I'll get better at Terran. I'll get Masters. I'll learn to play Korean StarCraft. No. Those are all the wrong answers. Go watch Future Diary and tweet to her about it. Send her screen caps if you're watching the show. You're going to be her best friend in a day, I promise. I can write a book about this. These Banshees. Yeah.
Well, they're doing exactly what we expected. Absolute chaos here. Even though Observer was made first, and that's like, well and good. It just is so bad.
Stays out of range. The overcharge doesn't touch it. Probes being shuffled around are bad enough as is, because not only is that, like, okay, yeah, you're saving the probes, but they're not mining, and that's just as bad. Look at that income spike for KeeN. Oh my god.
Yeah. And HellraiseR just... So now with charge lots, his army would overall be a little bit better, but now it's just too small. KeeN's coming along here, cleaning up the pylons on his way. He's gonna have all of his upgrades.
It's too small.
Too small. Is that something I'm supposed to know?
It's too small. It's not very comfy. Just cute words.
I feel
man.
like this. Yeah, I feel it's just cute words. Yeah.
Stalker's being on top of the tanks to take them out, but in the process get shredded by everything else. So that's going to be game. GG. KeeN ties up the series now 1-1. But we are, in the sake of saving some time, going to just cut right to commercials. We'll see you guys in 2 minutes for game 3 when we get back. All right, folks, we're back just in time for the beeps. Means we're getting into game anytime you hear those. And, of course, it is map number 2 that we're currently getting into. So we go to Abyssal Reef. Was HellraiseR's map choice?
Yep.
Oh, wait. This is game 2 or 3. I'm having such a dumb moment right now. This is game 3. What am I talking
It's
about?
game 3, and
Yeah,
it was HellraiseR's map choice.
Yeah. So it's half right. Okay. Brain did a huge fart
no,
there.
you're totally right.
Well, I said it was game 2, so.
Oh, okay, well, I did miss that then. Alright.
Yeah. Game 3. Things tied up 1-1. In the bottom right, it's going to be the yellow Terran player, KeeN.
In the top left, as the red Protoss, it is HellraiseR.
I would love so very much, by the way, if the AC in my building could work today. It's getting toasty. I don't know if it's broken or they shut it off again, but I gotta tell you, I love living here, Zombie Grub. I hate, even though it's been like over a month since the last time we had this issue, I hate the inconsistency of the AC here.
Yeah. For me, I figured it out, and then they put up a sign saying like make sure to open the vents, and just the way that this air conditioning is like positioned, I would have never seen that they were closed if I didn't know to check. So that fixed my issue, but now I have this issue where I actually like it warm, so I would prefer to have like the AC to a very, very high degree, still like cool, but you know, higher, and it won't stop being super cold. So it's like the AC works too well. Okay, I have the opposite problem of you.
I wish there was a way that humans could like transfer stuff like that. Like your desire for heat, mine for cold, like just trade out for like the summer and then swap back or something like.
Yeah, it'd be great, man. Oh well.
Stupid brain.
Yeah.
Well, HellraiseR, all things considered, that last game, I feel, fell apart because of his choice to do something a little bit cheesy, a little bit more dedicated, right?
Yeah.
So, game 1, I like a lot more. He played it a little bit closer to the vest, played it pretty smart. I think played it really well. I would hope to see him try and play something along that route again. Obviously, I mean, he's not proxying, but still, it's that question of, like, maybe it's 2 bases, but into DTs, or something really silly, when really he'd just get away with standard play better.
He did. There's a big difference if KeeN had not gone for a tank, which I honestly found surprising and wondered if he did have some suspicion of the follow-up. Because Sequencer's not usually a very, like, tank build. Abyssal is something where I almost always expect tanks, in fact. Sequencer, not so much. And if he hadn't gotten that could have been a very different game. Or if the, Corsair Gear actually done damage. Either one. But I think that's where this is going to lead to eventually. We already saw, I thought it was KeeN that did the whole bunker thing against the charge lots. So that the tank push actually worked against.
Yeah, he had this
usually
city.
a straight up counter.
There's like the one turret and the one bunker and like that really sick spot down here.
Yeah, exactly. So you still can't feel too safe on Abyssal Reef as a Protoss player versus Terran. Thank you to Serban DJ for the Twitch Prime sub.
Play us some tunes, Mr. DJ. I got 12 birthday candles. I needed these yesterday. Actually, I got really annoyed, so I got like the little like you didn't see them on stream obviously, but I bought those dollar store candles. And it's just like the standard tiny little straight candle. And it comes on like this stand I guess you're supposed to put into the cake, so it sits on the stand instead of going directly in the cake. And there's no way to actually connect those two without wedging it in, and it makes the wax like peel. So you would just end up with wax flakes in your cake. It's like the dumbest design.
It is a dumb design. Well, I haven't had a birthday cake in 2 years.
Aww. Don't give me that. Zamgrim doesn't have a birthday cake because she's too busy getting birthday drunk. She couldn't eat it anyways. And if she did, it would just come right back up.
Yeah, the last 2 years I was in Austin, and I think the year before that my mom was out of town, and I don't buy my own birthday cake. Okay.
You have a problem with people who do?
Mommy. No, I have a problem with my mom doesn't specifically. For me, specifically.
Fair enough.
Mommy.
Alright, so this drop was initially pushed off very well. Expecting Widow Mines too with the Observer out. I like that HellraiseR was prepared, but for KeeN, it's just Marines. Double Forge actually on 2 bases. I mean, it's not as greedy as it was once upon a time. But it is something where if you're going to be investing money in those upgrades, and you've gone for Blink first, I'm not a big fan. I don't think armor is going to benefit you really at all if you're going for Stalkers.
We should be putting down a robotics bay.
Mothership Core almost gets picked off. Does go down. Nicely done. 2 Marines. That's a pretty nice trade.
Because otherwise, I absolutely agree with you. You know, and if it is going to be a well upgraded game, power of a pretty damn fast third, so you have like a lot of production. So I'm just waiting on robotics bay.
Oh, that little whatever he did there that was killed him.
Damn. That one stalker on the low ground too. Amazing.
I don't know, it was like a messed up Blink with a messed up medevac just led to the worst scenario.
Oh, okay. So it's not just Blink. He goes directly into charge. Is getting a lot of gateway. In fact, what we saw happen the last time KeeN did this push. I try to remember who it was too. Showtime. Showtime. Showtime was on 2 bases. He had kind of all the tools to deal with an Abyssal Reef tank push. Abyssal Rift. It's riffing underwater. But then the bunker really threw him off. So the double upgrades is another investment too. But you know, even still, I think it's about the SimCity. I like what HellraiseR is doing a lot with the Stalkers, picking things off here, controlling the map.
I think one of the big problems with the fact that it was Stalkers is point defense drone going to be such a huge addition to this. But auto turret is forced out due to the Zealots. This is actually going to help a ton. While one of the tanks goes down, he only really needs the one to provide pressure here. And there's those bunkers we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that was a hard call for HellraiseR. He either tries to jump on the so that it's not in position or protected by bunkers, or he waits for more Zealots and charge with upgrades, but lets the bunkers complete. This might be an okay situation, though, because at least the bunkers aren't on a choke. Okay, but he's still pushing for all those upgrades I just mentioned, so...
The bunkers aren't done, but blinking top of the tank was like the sickest bait. Those Stalkers actually barely get the tank, but it costs them all their lives.
Yeah, I guess this was not just before charge in 1-1, but it was also before stim, so it ended up working out.
Yeah, by like seconds. Even then, without stim, that army traded out pretty well for KeeN. But upgrades now done for HellraiseR. And that plus a Guardian Shield will give him a pretty definitive lead against Marines. It won't really matter as much against Marauders and such. Obviously, it'll help a little, but for the most part, Guardian Shield is going to make sure these Marines don't do much.
Well, KeeN has a about times to HellraiseR's third, finishing up here. It's very equal in that department. HellraiseR will need to get something bigger and better than gateway units, even though they're very well upgraded. And there is the finally the robotics bay after he's dealt with everything else. I really like the way that HellraiseR's played this. In fact, maybe a little bit like maybe he should have waited, maybe he shouldn't have gone in early. But I think that the choices are very tough with the situation that was at hand. We'll see how the macro game turns out.
Well, if it is going straight to macro and not a lot of weirdness in between, I do like KeeN. I think his choice for Liberators is still like whatever. I'm really not sold on Liberators when there's going to be Colossus in play, but without, they're kind of amazing. Yeah, we got extended thermal lens starting up on the other side of the field, and for HellraiseR, I know he's going to be a little bit worried about what he's getting into here, because late game versus Terran, you do start worrying more about drops and being split, so I kind of like how he's got some detection out here. Pylon will hopefully catch things down here. He's ready to not get totally caught off guard, at least. This is really good, actually.
Very good coverage. KeeN scans the army, sees about the same composition as before, and the same upgrades because T2 has yet to complete. I gotta figure though he knows that Colossus will be on the way. High Templars would be a real. It might have been a cool move too, but it is Colossus. So, Xanthermal Lance, Colossus, HellraiseR had a bit of a tough time, I guess, affording every single gas investment you see on the production tab now, but he just barely has been able to. We'll see. His upgrades are so good. 2-2 to 1-1.
It's like barely 1-1 too. Like as we say it's just 1.
Yeah. It's gonna be crazy when the 3-3, because I'm guessing 3-3 is being Chrono, so it's gonna be quite the army. KeeN is already on the way to his 4th base. He is getting to a lot of Liberators. He is playing to the late game despite pushing out initially here. And we'll see how that goes, because, you know, that's the game that HellraiseR won, was a macro game in the first game of this series. You know, HellraiseR might be able to take on this army without a Colossus. Especially if he caught the Liberators not joining up, but he does have a Colossus. He has 4 Immortals. His army is, I think, a bit stronger. Liberators are gonna complicate issues, though. I thought that was Lucid Colossus at first. Alright.
Hallucinate Colossus would be a really cool element to add into this, but with the constant scans going down, I don't know if it'd be effective. I do sit there, though. There's a lot of situations where I actually think, and this is coming from an amateur, okay, not a pro player, but I would like to see Colossus, or excuse me, hallucinations used more. There's a lot of really cool elements for hallucination, too. Like, for example, if you hallucinate a Zealot, you get 2 Zealots, not just 1. Have those on the front line, and even if it's just like a couple of wasted shots, maybe it's better than a force field that doesn't actually zone a unit out. You know, like there's a lot of little, like, cool would-be things I'd like to see. But anyways, not relevant to here and now. We do have that really good defensive setup here out of KeeN.
This is the derpiest Liberator ever.
Yeah, one Liberator. Was he slow? Was he slow?
Fine. It's going to be 3-3 versus 1-1 for, like, what, 30 seconds? But with the Liberator count like this and the Bio Army still here...
A Ghost just spawned, though. EMP is going to make a big game changer here. That army's so clumped up. If that hits even a decent, not even a good, but like a decent EMP, that's going to strip away so many shields. And you got to consider, the Colossus is the only area of effect here for HellraiseR. Oh, that reaches.
Yeah, if HellraiseR's not going to push the issue, okay, he's going to push the issue, but come on, Colossus. Nah, you should definitely be hitting those bio.
He's wasting shots on the engineering base. This is a huge mistake. But that being said, Protoss is still apparently pretty good.
I mean, the composition was very good for HellraiseR. There's a lot of Immortals there, too, that kind of made it deceiving. Usually the focus is on Colossus, but it's really the Immortals packing a punch against all those Marauders. The upgrades, even though 2-2 did finish, were still really good. And HellraiseR has taken game number 3. I mean, KeeN has a bit of a drop going on here, but HellraiseR just dominated the army.
So I do want to point out, too, the Ghost didn't really get used. I think he tried to get the MP off, but it's just, like, not going to happen. It feels like such a wasted opportunity. 2 Colossus not part of that fight. He still couldn't fight it out. EMP's land now, but it still might be just a little bit too late. I don't know. The Vikings aren't being shot by the Stalkers. They're busy shooting the Marauders, so the Colossus are starting to slowly go down.
And supplies aren't as big of a difference as you think.
You know what? If he gets that army back home, I think he can clean up. These 2 medevacs should be enough to catch this from behind.
I don't think so. I think the 4 Immortals is always the deceiving part of things.
That's actually very true. Because they're going to have all their barriers back. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if that's 4 Stalkers, I absolutely agree with you, but Immortals is going to be so tough to chew through. Okay, well, that command center should go down.
This one is also going to eventually go down. But the SCVs get pulled. He's trying to make his last-ditch defense. Oh, the Zealots are attacking the wrong things. There's so many things here for HellraiseR where I look at him and I'm like, most of his army is doing dumb, derpy things, but he's still winning with what little is left. And I think part of that earlier, I could have made the argument was the upgrades, right? It was 3-3 versus 1-1 for a small point, like, laughably bad upgrade difference. But 2-2 for KeeN, I don't think that should have been so bad. Unfortunately, though, he's out of everything now. GG.
It was weird to see that Liberator army still go down despite 2 Colossus not even helping, but I think it made enough sense for me not to quite call Protoss OP.
I know he's not with us anymore, but David Kim!
Yeah.
All right, so congratulations to HellraiseR, who will make it through to the finals. This is damn impressive for him. and I hope we can keep it up. But he's, of course, going to be playing against the winner of either Mana or Alive, and what's scary about that is Alive is pretty good TvP. Mana has pretty good PvP, so HellraiseR better cross his fingers. Small break, though, before we get into the other semifinals. Things are running a little bit behind schedule, but that's okay. More games, more StarCraft for you guys. We'll see you soon.